Welcome back to the GNC Family Farms. What happens on the farm stays on the farm. But not today. We're going to let it all hang out. Enjoy this clip. I am shocked that God has not given me the command to build an ark. It has been non-stop rain. As you saw in the video, we have flooding going on here on the farm. I said a couple videos back, hi Gypsy. I said a couple videos back, I thought, well, you know, we're usually over by now. Nope. Different weather, different year, the whole 9 yards. It has been raining. Yesterday it rained non-stop, and I'm talking downpouring, and it was just, we got flooding going on, and the grass, the lawn up front, the back pasture, I'm going to have to get a baler because, yeah, it's coming up to almost my knees. But it's crazy. The river's high. It's crest over. We're still in flood danger right now. The river coming over the banks. Today is kind of an overcast day. It's sunny out. Then it gets cloudy. There was even a cloud burst of drops of heavy rain, and then it stopped. I'm like, I really didn't think I was going to get anything done today. I had a doctor's appointment first thing this morning, and then I came back, and that's when the cloud burst, and I'm like, man, I'm not going to get outside and do anything today. The plan is I got to go in the back garden area and lay down cardboard because, like I said, grass is growing, and I might even be breaking out the tiller and till up some before I put the cardboard down, method down. We'll see how that works out. I don't know yet. But yeah, it's been raining non-stop. I don't know where you're at in this beautiful land of ours, or in this beautiful world that we live in. But here in Ohio, last Thursday, a couple kids They heist the car. A young man had a gun in his hand. He bailed out of the car, and a couple others bailed out of the car, and of course the other ones ran. This young man, he hid behind a dumpster. The police ordered him to come out, throw down the weapon, because they knew he had a gun in his hand. He refused to do that. When he came out, he pointed the gun at the officer. Of course, they shot him and killed him. And here in Ohio is where this happened at. The next day, Friday, a deputy of 17, I think 17 or 18 years. I know that he's had a very lengthy career. He was not involved in the shooting at all. He wasn't part of it. He didn't even, he actually was retired, but he does what they do is a special services with the sheriff department. They do, like, for example, he was at a graduation thing and making sure the cars and guests went across safely, and that's what he was doing. Special duties, what they call it. He had nothing to do with this shooting at all, and I can't imagine losing a child. Okay, I can't imagine, because it's never happened to me. But here's where things get a little different for me. Okay, the father of this young man who had a gun, made a choice to go steal a car in a high-speed chase, bail out with the gun in his hand, and he was shot and killed because he pointed the gun at an officer. We've known for the last couple of years in our country here, in this nation of ours, and I've said this in many videos, what used to be considered wrong is considered right, and what's considered good is now considered wrong, and what's, this person, this young man, he wasn't a kid, he was a young man, he was 18 years old, made poor decisions in his life. Now, I don't know if it was his upbringing, I don't really know the whole family story, but this father took upon himself his anger of his criminal son who got killed, decided to take out a police officer, a retired sheriff deputy who had nothing to do with it at all, took his car and killed him with it. I am so sick and tired of hearing on the news some woman, mother, I should say, rephrase that, mother, even family members sometimes, sometimes even fathers. My baby's innocent. My baby never would have done that. It's them wicked police officers. They're racist. People, let me tell you something right now. I have a son. And like I said in many videos before, I am very straightforward. And I probably have said this in a couple videos about my son. My son is in prison. I raised him right. Raised him up in a Christian home. Did everything right by the book of the Bible. And taught him what was right and wrong. And about stealing. But he made a choice to go rob a bank. He made the choice. I'm not mad about it. I don't condone it at all. And if a police officer had killed my son, we'll just say that, hypothetically, and he was coming out of the bank and he got killed, that's my son's fault. It's not the police officer's fault. He's doing what he's been trained to do, is protect and serve our community. These men and women every day put on the badge. They put on the uniform. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some few little bit of bad apples out there in the basket, okay, that abuse their powers, okay? I'm not saying that they're all perfect. Heck, none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. Only God's perfect, right? If he had been killed doing a criminal action, I wouldn't be mad at the police. If anyone, I'd be mad at him for doing something stupid. And I've had many conversations with my son on the phone. About how his actions made choices, bad choices. So, if your child, I don't care what age they are, because kids today don't have any qualms about picking up a gun. If you use a gun, and it doesn't matter if it's a pellet gun or a BB gun or a firearm itself, if you point it at a law enforcement officer after being commanded to put it down, it's your fault. I was taught and I was raised and brought up, you're to respect your elders. You're to respect your law enforcement. You're to respect the firemen. These are heroes of ours. And like I said, I know that there are a few rotten apples in the group, okay? They're not perfect. They're all human beings, just like us. But not all of them are bad. And in this situation, it's been shown on video. Body cams don't lie. Now, even though the family says different, and even though the father took upon himself to maliciously use his vehicle to run down a police officer who was nothing to do with it and was strictly directing traffic, he took him out. And there's a mix of bag of emotions on social network about this issue. But it's clear as day. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. It's in our Bible. This is why I say people today are living by the law of the jungle instead of the law of the Bible and the laws of God. If you are doing something bad, I don't care if you're 10 years old or 50 years old. If you do something bad, you better understand there's going to be consequences of your actions. If a police officer asks you to put down your weapon, put it down. Put your hands above your head. You know they have the body cams now. So if they would shoot you with your hands high in the air, then that officer would be the bad guy. But in this case, in this situation, that's not the case. And for a father who was angry or so full of anger or heartbroken that his son is dead, but he decides he's going to take out the police because they're the bad people. Like I said, I don't know what it feels like to lose a child, and I pray to God I never have to feel that loss. But like I said, I know for my situation, I have a son who's incarcerated for a crime that he committed, and I don't condone it one bit. His actions got him in prison. Will he learn his lesson? I don't know. Because this young man of mine, my son, is a high-function Asperger's. He doesn't really understand his consequences, I don't believe. And, when he turned around 17, he got involved with a certain girl, and it went downhill from there. Because see, I tried to protect him. I tried to make sure that he went to school every day. He always loved school. He got him on the right track. I had really, his future was going to be bright. He was actually, when he graduated high school, he was going to go into a special needs college program. But he made poor choices. He's more of a follower than a leader. So he wasn't like the mastermind behind this. But, you know, at the same point, he knew what he was doing was wrong. He does admit that. But I don't think that he really understands his true consequences because of his disability. But at the same point, that's another downfall of our prison system. Now see, my son, I didn't have much contact with him after he left our home and did things and fell down a rabbit hole. I tried to reach out many times to throw him the life the life raft, but he never got a hold of it. And it's over now, but you know, he now has to spend a good portion of his young life in prison. But what I'm getting at is that people like him and other people with mental health issues are incarcerated when they need to be in a place where they can get the meds, they can get the proper counseling, they can still be in prison. I do believe they need to be, you know, locked up, but we got too many people that are in our prison system that should be in a mental ward or in a setting like that, because that's where my son belongs. But you know, it is what it is, and you know, he has to learn his lesson. But what I'm getting, the story is the whole thing here in a nutshell. Stop blaming the law. There's a reason why we have what's called the laws of the land, okay? These parents who, for whatever reason, want to blame the system for the downfall. It isn't the system. There's a lot of very successful people who grew up in the same bad parts of town, ghetto town, whatever you want to call it, but they put on their bootstraps and they got themselves out of there and made something of their life. So it's a choice. You can blame everyone else for your problems, but at the end of the day, you have to finally realize and take some responsibility of your actions. And if the parents are, you know, not doing what they should be, now, like my case, I did everything I could possibly do, humanly possible, to make sure my son did the right thing in life. But because the system, again, the system sort of failed my son. Because they said, well, he's 18. There's nothing you can do. Now, technically, I had the right to really, I could have simply locked him up and had him, you know, committed. Because he really, just because he was 18, his age was actually more around the 12 to 10-year-old mindset. So I know I took a lot of time out of that, but you know, just wanted to cover that because I think a lot of people want to blame everyone else for their problems instead of looking in the mirror and taking a long look at themselves. And before jumping on the bandwagon of racism, you need to look around and see what really happened. But see, it's so easy to blame it on race, isn't it? And that's the way our country is. Everything's about race. You would never understand, and I'm sure that I'll get some backlash from some people that will come across this video and say that I'm a hypocrite, bigot, whatever. I don't care. I don't care what color of skin you are. Well, instead of, I mean, if you're green, I might see if you need some help, or maybe run the other direction because you might be an alien. And I'm not talking about the illegal aliens. Uh, but seriously, I don't care what color skin you, because we all bleed the same color. We all are God's children. But some of us make choices. You know, it's part of the fall of man, because we, you know, are now in the devil's bargain. And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden if we want true peace in our nation and our world. But that's all I got to say about it. You know, I just wanted to, you know, just think that people need to take responsibilities for their actions. Stop blaming it on their upbringing or whatever the situation might be. You know. Well. All right, let's move on. Well, tomorrow is the 8th of May. Oh, before I forget, Mother's Day is this Sunday. So anyone out there that hasn't gotten their Mother's Day gift, you better get on the ball before it gets too late, because as the weekend gets here, you know, cards are going to be running out, flowers are going to be buying out. So get your mother something. At least show her, I mean, even if it's just a card, get her something to show that you do love her, and because she did love you and gave birth to you, right? So make sure you call your mother, or if you're nearby, make sure you take her out to eat or do something special for her. But anyways, tomorrow is May 8th. 15 years ago, these two young, handsome, beautiful looking couple said, "I do." 15 years. Now, we actually technically been together for about 18 years. But we got married in May 8th of 2010, and so 15 years. I can't believe it. Time just blows me away. And so Sunday, when I was doing some Bible reading and stuff, I thought about King Solomon and the Song of Solomon, the book of Solomon in the Bible. The whole book of Solomon is about love. It's about love, and it's about it's love of each other. And one of the things that really I thought I'd read to you real quick. My beloved is mine, and I'm his. He feedeth among the lilies, until the day break and the shadows flee away. Turn, my beloved, and be thou like a roe or a young hart upon the mountains. Isn't that beautiful? My beloved is mine, and I am his. He feedeth me among the lilies. Beautiful Bible verse about marriage and love, and you know, my wife and I got joined together, and we became one flesh, and that is literally the truth to that. I mean, what I'm thinking, she's already says, she'll say it before I say it, and it's reversed. She'll say, or she'll be thinking something, and I'll say it, and she'll be like, "How'd you know I was going to say that?" I'm like, "I don't know." But that's how we are. We complete each other. Now, do we bicker a lot? Sure, we bicker. Do we go to bed angry? No. Well, I'm not going to say that's not always true, but we try not to go to bed angry. But yeah, 15 years ago, we became one family. We were sort of like the Brady Bunch. If she would have just had one more kid, we would have technically been the Brady Bunch. Because we always joked at each other as, "Here's the story." Because I had the 3 boys, and she had a beautiful daughter and a son. So if she would have had 2 girls, people would have called us the Brady Bunch, that's for sure. Because when we pulled up to church, and kids would be jumping out of the band, and they'd be like, "How many more people was in that band?" But yeah, we came as one, and came as a family, and there's been ups, there's been some downs, there's been some in betweens, but that's part of being marriage, and understanding each other, and always reconciling our differences, trying to meet each other on the same playing field, see where, okay, she'll tell you that I'm very hard-headed, but she's also very hard-headed as well. Uh, but that's what happens when you have a two Aquariuses get married. We're two. We are a lot like each other, but we are also a lot different than each other. We have our own views. I have my views on how things was with the kids, and she had her views with kids. But that's mama for you. Mama. All the kids always went with the mama. Even my boys, they always went to mama, because dad was a little hard-headed sometimes. Still am. I have no problem saying that. Once I get set into something, I will drag my heels. Sometimes I remember this comedian one time. He's a Christian comedian. I can't remember his name offhand. But he was talking about how his wife and him are in so much love. He said, but man, mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. He said, one day when I get old, I'm going to be walking behind my cane. I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. And she'll be leading the way. That's the way it would be with my wife. I'll be like, oh man, I'm a man. I'm a man. But but we joke. We have a lot of fun together. We're two kids. We still are. Even if we are getting older, we still act like two kids. Trying to figure out this crazy thing we all call life, and trying to navigate through, children, adult children, grandkids, and so forth. So, but yeah, it's part of life, it's just. But 15 years, actually almost going on 18. Ooh. Now she'll disagree with me. I probably got the years a little mixed up. Not as far as how many years we've been married, but how many technically we've been together. But that's her for you. She'll correct me if I'm wrong about something. She will always let me know if I'm wrong. And there's times I would just walk away, just like, you know what? Just let it go. Mama happy, nobody's happy. So if mama's not happy, no one's gonna be happy. So just, I'm a man. I'm a man. Just walk away. And that's a good thing to do. Sometimes when you feel you and your partner are butting heads and you're really getting frustrated with each other, take a breather. Walk away. I mean, I don't know about you, but I took a parent class when my first child was born, and they teach you that, when the baby is screaming and crying and you're getting upset, you're getting frustrated, go to the other room and walk away and count to 10 and take deep breaths. And sometimes that's what you have to do in marriage. And sometimes you just go at it, and sometimes you don't mean to do it because it doesn't honor God that way when you're like that. But in the heat of the moment, it can be a battleground. But that's part of being married and learning how to love each other and learning from the mistakes you make in life. Be honest with you, the first time I saw her, I knew that I was going to marry that girl. I really did. I know it's strange, but and also we have this little inside joke. When we first met, I don't know about you, but when you meet someone new, say you're going out on a date for the first time and you talk to each other over the phone or a messenger or whatever. Back in my day, I think we mostly talked on the phone, and it was the old antique flip phones with text on it. You know how they used to look like. Not like today. The first time we met was in a parking lot down in my hometown, and we met at a public place, which is always good to do, meeting someone new. Usually you have that awkward moment, you just don't know each other. You mean it's like, oh wow, the first time you see each other, it's like, oh okay, this is what he looks like, that's what she looks like. I don't know about you, but I've never met anyone who walked right up to me and gave me a kiss. And I'm not talking a little peck on the cheek. She just walked one right on my lips. And so the inside joke is she possessed me. Because once she kissed me, I was over heels. I really, we set out, we went around the food court, and I don't even think we got anything to eat. We just basically walked and talked, and then we went out in the car and talked another couple hours. And I asked her, I said, "Do you want to go get something to eat?" "Oh no, I'm fine." I was like, "Okay." And so we went different way, went back, and I said, "Man, that was something different." That whole time, and she kissed me again, and yeah, she kissed me that one time, and it was over. I was like, oh, I was over heels in my cowboy boots. Yeah, she'll tell you. She goes, when I saw him in his cowboy boots and them jeans, woo. But yeah, she kissed me, and that was it. I don't know. It was about a month later. We talked about moving into each other, moving into each. While we first met again with the kids. We had all the kids together, and then we met with the kids, and then I don't know, maybe a month or maybe it was 2 months. I don't know. It wasn't that long. As I get older, the memory starts slipping away. But yeah, we moved in together and started raising a family, and then we got married. Now, she didn't want to get married. She was like, "I don't want to get married." She had been married before. She was her husband passed away, and then and I really didn't want to get married again either. But there was just something about her. I said, "No, I want to marry her, even though she doesn't want to get married." And so we took the kid. I don't know if the kids were with us. I'm thinking the kids weren't with us. Yeah, I don't think the kids were with us. But I took her down. We went back to my hometown, and we walked around the park, and then I stopped at the gazebo overlooking the pond, and I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me, and she started crying and said yes, and so that's history. But yeah, 15 years. Whew, time flies, I'll tell you. So, but today I'm going to do the cardboard in the garden. I'm planning on it. I was going to do the rabbits, but then last night I was walking around looking at the water situation, and because, like I said, it rained all day yesterday, and we're still not at full peak yet, so at flood stage yet. So I saw the garden anyway, so I said, well, you know what, I'm going to do the garden tomorrow, get that cardboard laid down, because I think tomorrow is supposed to rain again. It's only a small chance, but we'll see. That's the plan today, is maybe to do release the cardboard, because it's already going on 11 o'clock, and if it don't take that long out there, then I'll move on to doing the rabbits, get them get the rabbits cleaned out. And it's the nice thing about having back there, because technically I really don't need to clean them, because when I use the blower, so I just blow it right out the door. But I haven't done that for a couple of days, so I think what I'll do is I'll put it in the bucket, take it back to the thing. Now the conclave for the new Pope has started. I have a new Pope. Pope. Let's see. Well, Sunday will be Mother's Day. I'll probably do some kind of inspiration for Mother's Day. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for that message yet. If you haven't watched last Sunday's message, it's a good message to go watch, and maybe it'll be a help with your walk with Christ. Well, as we say around here on the farm, peace, love, and joy comes from knowing our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm going to let you all get out of here, and tomorrow is Friday Eve, and so you all have a blessed rest of the week, and may God bless each one of you, and like I said, make sure you call your mother, send her a card, take her ID, make sure you do something for Mother's Day for her, okay? You husbands, that's your responsibility to do that. Help your kids. Now, if you got older kids, them older kids should be doing it, but sometimes us fathers, we have to step up, make sure mom is treated good, right? All right, love y'all. I will see you on the next video.
Every morning, see the sunrise on the land. Fields of gold and rolling hills built by God's own hand. There's a Bible on my table and a flag out by the gate. In this land of faith and freedom, we stand up proud and pray. This is Jesus' country.